Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the world premiere of the Press Your Luck podcast. I know y'all been seeing all the promo, man. We've been all over social media with it, and it is finally here. And of course, I've been kind of cooking this up for a minute. Had to get the right mixture. Wanted to do it right and do a little something different. So y'all know me. I'm Damani, aka Lucky Lefty, aka Mr. 5 o'clock somewhere. You've seen me on numerous other shows: Humidor Shop Talk, Humidor Sports and Cigars, He Said, She Said. And those shows are kind of specific, right? It's a sports show, and then the other shows are more relationship based. But I want to do something a little different. I want to do something where we can just go in on everything. It's too much going on in the world, and a lot we need to talk about, and a lot we want to get off our chest, and we want everybody to be able to say what they feel, how they feel, and let's go in. You see in the corner, parental advisory, explicit content. So we going deep with it, and I couldn't think of nobody else to have on here with me to be my co-host, but my childhood friend, man, from the sandbox. She is this Miss Dawn Cherie. She's gonna be here all season. She's my co-host. Say what's up, Dawn.
What's up, y'all? Let's get it. Hey, Damani.
Hey. So yeah, man. So hey, this the first show. You see the title I got right there, My Favorite Uncle, man. We're gonna talk about some things, but Dawn, let's talk about it, man. The pandemic. We almost through it. We almost through it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we getting it. Yeah, remember we were doing the radio show last year, and we had to have masks on while we were doing the show, and like the whole world changed right in front of our eyes, right? Like,
absolutely.
We lost people. We had to like change up how we did things. Everything was closed. I mean, it got real crazy for a minute, but now we getting to this point, right? Mm-hmm. The vaccination is out.
Yeah,
it's out, right? And I know I didn't talk to a lot of people. I didn't, and we got different opinions on it. So I can say for me personally, I took my first dose of Pfizer last Wednesday. Gave me a headache out this world. Put me down for like a day, but I took it primarily because I feel like I was gonna have to anyway, right? I wasn't the one to be the first one to jump up and take it. That wasn't my thing. But I got some interesting numbers. So we talk about our people, and then I'm gonna bring it to you, Dawn. We talk about our people and kind of you can tell by the numbers how we feel and our trust in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And these vaccinations, because it's 4 different ones now, right? It was.
I thought it was 3. It's one more?
They bringing a 4th out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. they bringing a 4th. So when you look at it, according to the CDC, as of May 17th of this year, of 2021, 39% of Americans are fully vaccinated. Right now, that's a nice number, but I know they still would want it to be a lot more. Now I got 39%, 62% of white, 13% Hispanic, 9% Black, 6% Asian, and only 1% Native Americans. So first, let me ask you, have you been vaccinated or have you started the process?
I have not.
You have not? So is there a specific reason? Come on, talk about it.
The same reason that people are getting vaccinated. It's the unprecedented fear. For me, I'm just skeptical, flat out. Because the whole COVID pandemic, it's played on our mental in a tremendous way. We have seen the results of the pandemic, and it's put a fear in us, a fear of what if we go outside? What if we don't wear our masks? What if we don't wash our hands? What if we don't, what if we're exposed to it? I actually had it. I tested positive for it early on last year, and my symptoms were minimal. But had I not had that fear of coronavirus is killing people, that at high numbers, that you see it everywhere. That's all people are talking about, to deviate from all the other shit that's going on in the world. I would have just dismissed it as I have a little cold or I'm coming down with something. I wouldn't have thought to like, oh my God, I got COVID. Let me go hurry up and get a test. I want to make sure I don't want to infect anyone else. I don't want to, when in essence, all I could do was quarantine. It wasn't a cure for it. It wasn't, anything else I could do. So I think that created something inside of me that said, okay, I dodged a bullet. That's how I felt. Like, because I have asthma, chronic asthma. So I just was always in fear that it's going to attack my pulmonary. I'm going to have pulmonary disease. I ain't going to be able to breathe. They're going to put me on the ventilator. I'm going to die. But that's from watching all of the masses, any genre that you were to get on social media. It's there. And I think because of that, I just I got the antibodies. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see. And I just feel like for something that we still don't have the answers to, the different symptoms. Some people didn't even know they had it and they spread it to someone else. All those reasons. And now you're telling me that you're coming up with a replica mRNA that you're putting in our bodies to make us fight that off. What are we really fighting off? Where did you take the samples from? I mean, it goes deeper. I'm not a scientist, but I'm skeptical. And I probably won't get it unless it's a mandate.
So there it goes. It goes into the trust factor, right?
Yes.
It definitely goes into trust, and we know, black people in government, we haven't had the best, luck. We'll play on the name of the show,
right?
You know what I mean? So, we haven't had the best luck. So we got people. So I'm getting calls. We're trying to get the show share. People can see it. For some reason, they were saying they can't see the content. So I think we got it now. So you all should be able to see it now. We got.
You put it on your page.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's the way it was shared. So I had to copy the link and put it up so people can see it. So we should be good now. We got my man Ben in there, Mr. Smoke Fella. What's going on, man? My one of my partners in crime and my Smoke Fella brothers, Humidor Shop Talk, Humidor Sports and Cigars. So Ben's chiming in with us right now. Ben, let me know if you still have an issue seeing it. I think we should be okay.
I can't. It said I can't get in the link that you put on.
Right. Try. I put a couple of links up. See now. If you can. Okay, there go Ben. Ben's in so he can see it. So one of those things I share, you should be able to see it from there.
All right, let me see.
Should be able to see it from there. But in the meantime, I think, people should be able to start seeing it. He said he was getting calls, people trying to see the show. And we appreciate you guys chiming in. So, yeah, spread the word. They should be able to see it now. Oh, you can see it, but others can't. They should be able to see it from my page. Can you see it?
Okay. I don't see it from your page, the money.
Okay, go to the Smoke Fellas page and see if you can see it. Okay. I'm sharing it again. Okay, let me see. So see if you can see it now. I just shared it again. I know I was having a hard time sharing it earlier as far as the promo. So I just saw it again. Ben, you said you could see it, right? So we're trying to get everybody on here.
Yeah, I'm still having a hard time. Hold on.
Still having a hard time?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get in. Let me try. I went on Smoke Fellas. It just says content not available. That's what it keeps saying.
For some reason, it is locked in. Okay.
No, they ain't letting us in that.
For some reason, it's locked in. Okay, well, we'll get recording of the show if that's what we have to do. But let me see, Ben, if you can see it, see if you can copy the link for me and share it. Share it to my page and see. I'm trying. I got people hitting me up too, text and in my inbox that are texting me as well. So I got it as a public post, right? Public.
Yeah, you got it public for sure.
But it's not popping up. Okay. Well, we'll keep trying throughout the show. But if nothing else, you'll be able to catch it on YouTube. You'll definitely be able to catch it on YouTube. So, Dar, you made a great point. So the way the things you were saying, a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel like, they don't know what's going on. For me, it's a lot of contradictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of since this whole thing has been going on, it's been contradiction after contradiction after contradiction. Is
Right.
1 minute is only if you have underlying issues. Then the next minute, like the stories just kept changing. Then you'll get little conspiracy theories that'll throw you off. You just don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. So, of course, I think we're the generation now. We aren't that piss on us and tell us it's raining generation.
Right.
We're more that generation that says, hey, we're gonna question everything. And there's nothing wrong with questioning media, questioning your pastors, questioning schools, teachers. I don't care who it is. There's nothing wrong with questioning that. We don't have to follow blindly, right?
Exactly.
And I'm really like, this generation is really strong on that. It seems like we're coming out of that. We're coming out of that. Hey, you can't just tell us something and we just gonna roll with it. Now we still got some people who do it, even though because we do have social media. People will spread things and everybody will just take it as fact. But we got the informational highway, right? So we can do our own research. You can kind of draw your own conclusions from things. And I encourage everyone to do that. You don't have to believe any and everything that's told to you. I'm one, even though I got my second dose in about 2 weeks, but I'm not I wouldn't push anybody to take the vaccination. You take it when you're comfortable taking it, when you feel like you want to take it, go ahead. I'm not one of those that's out here preaching and I'm not going to post I'm fully vaccinated. None of that's going to happen. And that's no knock on anybody who does it. Right. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But to me, it's a personal choice. So people can, it's up to you. That's all I say. It's up to you.
To piggyback off that really quick, what you were saying, I think has a lot to do with self-awareness. And a lot of us, like you said, we rely on social media and the news and to tell us everything. Even Google. I mean, if you're going to use that as a resource, you got to know how to use that as well, because they put a lot of bullshit that's not true, inaccurate shit on Google. So people always like Google it. Yeah, well, this day and age, I feel sorry for the person who does not have or does not know what it means to have self-awareness and knowledge of self. Because, once you know your body, you know where your mind thinks, you know what you're going to believe, what you're not going to believe. It's all about that. But when we start educating ourselves, it changes our mindset. It changes our frame of thinking. And so I think a lot of people are just following like love. Oh, I got to get it. I ain't going to get it because of what my boyfriend said or what I heard the dude on YouTube say, and we have to make decisions. Now is the time that we really have to make decisions for ourselves. And the only way to do that is to educate ourselves on what's going on around us. It's so many people sleep. It's so many people that have not awakened, that have no idea. They just going through the motions. And those are the ones, when it's all said and done, you're going to have to hold yourself accountable for whatever decisions you make, but they're not going to be able to do that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad and it's scary. That's what it is. What it boils down to is scary.
Exactly. It's terrifying to think. The whole time, even me leading up to taking it was kind of like, damn, man, because I'm not one to taking a bunch of medications and all that. I encourage, even with the high blood pressure, the diabetes, like there's natural ways of curing that, of getting yourself back right and back healthy without putting a whole bunch of different drugs in your system.
Awareness.
Yeah, and then you turn around and then you wonder why, all these, like, so many people are coming down with cancer, and we just don't know. Like, one thing leads to another. Well, you hear this sorry ass commercial. If you or one of your loved ones have ever died from this, please call this number. All that. Yeah,
it plays on your psyche.
Exactly.
Constantly.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's tough, but it still goes back to government. So let's just go back to even how this thing started and how it was handled. Right? That's when Trump was in office, right? When Trump was in there, Trump was telling us one thing. Trump said it ain't nothing. It's the little Asian flu. or whatever. Come to find out, it was worse than that, right? But do you remember the stories of the bodies piled up in New York?
Yeah.
You remember that? The bodies piled up in New York, and here they cleared out McCormick Place in anticipation of all these people dying and shit. And that shit was really scary, right?
Yeah. A lot of people was like, it's Armageddon, it's the end of the world.
Right. It's right. You lucky people didn't start going crazy and just rioting, like, because it was causing a panic. Yeah.
I think to an extent it was controlled because the government knows what triggers, and they know that if this would have kept going at the rate it was going, there would have been a massive uproar. Forget people in the hospital. People would have been losing their minds. People were already fighting over masks because they didn't want to wear a mask. Somebody standing too close. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just all of that in itself. So it was only going to be a matter of time that everyone was going to be on a mental warfare path.
So this is what really got me. What was with the toilet tissue thing?
Damani, you know what? So this is so funny. So a friend of mine, right when Corona started, happening, but it wasn't really, people weren't in a panic mode. My friend went to the store and was like, we're not going to be able to leave the house. He was like, we ain't going to be able to leave the house. I'm going to get all this stuff. This boy got so many beans and rice and canned goods and toilet paper. But it was all the hype. It was all what the news is telling us.
Right.
What social media is telling us. Didn't nobody tell them folks to go out there and get 50 million things of toilet paper to stack up? Like we weren't going to be able to leave our house. I wasn't claiming that. So I wasn't going to live like that. But that's what I'm saying, how easily people who are not aware are controlled by the mass. That's a pure example.
It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
It was, and it's a trickle down effect. So then that just goes to show, like the whole COVID thing. A lot of people's like, ain't no COVID. I don't believe in that. The government is a conspiracy. And there might be some truth to that because there can't be something said as an action without a reaction. So whatever they put in place, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? They're saying in July, the city is supposed to open up. Open up to what?
Yeah, open back up. Because if you
open up to what though? Because COVID is still there. Everybody's not vaccinated. You just said how many percentage of Blacks were vaccinated? So how many just in this city alone? You know what I'm saying? So open up to what?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's when you got to start following the money. There's no way the economy could have survived another year like last year.
So that means that the economy is more important than us. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. It's
exactly.
Just,
it was like, no way the economy could survive. Just right here in Chicago, what happened? As soon as they said you have to open up in July, Lollapalooza.
There you go. And I knew. And but you know what? My same friend that had the stuff stacked up. He said it's going to open up in July. I said, how do you know that? No, it's not. He was like, they're not going to let that little event that happens in July not happen. They make too much money.
They make too much
money. And it's not us. We ain't going to have no chosen few.
Right, exactly. Well, all our little festivals got shut down. We couldn't get none of that. But they having the other venues open. They're gonna be open to concerts and all that. So now all of a sudden, in a couple of months, it's gonna be cool. Would you see the numbers of people vaccinated? It's gonna be cool to just open it back up.
Open up.
It's gonna be cool open back up.
But you want me to get the shot? That's my whole take.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So whether I get the shot or not, this is what you gonna do.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So Kevo joined in on us. Kevo made a comment. The fact that people can't trust the government should really make people do their own research, then make the best decision for you. 100% agree, Kevo. 100% agree.
I agree, Kevin.
Yeah, and just think of the jobs lost, the families that were destroyed. On top of the deaths, they said the divorce rate shot through the roof.
Yeah.
So
destroyed
much.
Some families.
Yeah, and think about the children who had to go through last year, like they senior year of high school, couldn't go on prom.
My baby.
Yeah, couldn't go on prom. Like memorable. That's a memory. That's something you'll never forget. Like they couldn't have a regular graduation.
Nope.
You know, all that. So that's mind blowing. But to think that the government would even, if it was a setup, if it was a coup to make money or whatever it was, to think you dirty motherfuckers would do that to people like without a care in the world. It's a shitty feeling. So
it really is.
So we can go into now. So now, had an election. We started celebrating again. We got Joe Biden, Mr. Joe Biden. Joe Biden got in there. We got Trump out of office because that's what we was all pushing it. We got to get Trump up out this office, right? We got Biden. Biden got vice president, first black female president, Miss Kamala Harris. Kamala, I think I'm saying right. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Everybody was chucks and pearled out. Everybody was chucks and pearls out. We was having a ball, right? We celebrated and partied again. But in the midst of that, we had some people, Ice Cube, Diddy, some people who came forward and say, hey, hold on. You ain't just finna get black votes now. We done with that. You ain't finna play the old, I keep hot sauce in my bag like Hillary Clinton and try to like, it's easy to tell black folks anything, we'll follow anybody blindly. And they caught flack for that. But I think a big part of that was the hatred for Trump was so strong, especially in the black community. It was so strong that I think Bobo the chimpanzee could have ran and probably would have came close to winning, right? Because it was anybody but Trump. Yeah. Right? So now we're here. It's May. It's been what? But just about 5 months a year now, right? 5 months in January. So 5 months. Now, what's going on? So we had Dr. Umar Johnson, man, amazing guy. This dude is amazing. I don't agree with everything he says all the time because he can't. Number one, he can't stand Obama. Like I'm not gonna say hatred, but the dude can't stand Obama. But if you ever listen to this man talk, he's very political. He goes very deep. He's a historian, man. Just to listen to him talk, it'll make you think. He talks about education. I mean, with the black community, he's very, very, very pro-black. So he was on the Breakfast Club, I think this was last week, speaking on Joe Biden, on Biden's agenda. Ivan, if you can cue up a few minutes of Dr. Umar Johnson on the Breakfast Club. Hopefully we got more people in. Check this video out, Ivan. Go ahead and cue it up.
President Biden. President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But he sat up here with you, Charlemagne, and told black people that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So if you went out of your way begging black people to vote for you, why haven't we got an executive order or any other activity coming out of the Oval Office from President Biden to protect black people from police?
I agree.
Look what he's doing with the anti-Asian hate. President Joe Biden signed an executive order that is exclusive to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I don't have a problem with that. But if you can protect the Asian American and Pacific Islander from violence, why can't you do the same thing for black people? They've been dealing with violence for 1 year as a result of COVID. That's what it's called, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Bill, to protect Asians as a result of discriminatory treatment that they've been dealing with for how long? 1 year. Black people have been catching hell for 400 years, and we have yet to get an executive order from Joe Biden to protect us from the police. And also, Charlemagne and Envy, to further highlight the racism of American government, the transgender executive order is not for people of color. It is not for minorities. It is not for disadvantaged communities. Guess who it's for? Transgender. The anti-Asian Pacific Islander hate executive order against hate is not for people of color. It's not for minorities. It's not for disadvantaged Americans. It is exclusively and only for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Why am I bringing that up? Because when Barack Obama was in office, all these Negroes running around screaming for Obama, I still don't know why, said that Barack Obama can't do nothing specifically for black people because this is America. And when we got the Civil Rights Bill in 64 and the Voting Rights Act in 65, they included 2 words at the end of that. One was gender and the other was sexual orientation. So the Civil Rights Bill did not only apply to blacks, it applied to everybody. So if you have to make laws for all Americans, Charlemagne and Envy, how do you explain the fact that the Asian Americans got a law just for them? Yesterday, the United States Senate, in historic precedence, passed the Anti-Asian Hate Crimes Bill at a vote of 96-1. Now, to give you an idea of what that means, the Senate, they don't agree on nothing. The Democrats and Republicans, they filibuster each other to death. But yesterday they didn't. 96, only one person voted against the Anti-Asian Hate Crimes Bill. So can I ask you a question? If the Senate was able to pass the Anti-Asian Hate Crimes Bill, Charlemagne and Envy, 96-1 with almost no opposition, why is it that the Emmett Till lynching bill still has not been approved? Why is it that there have been over 200 different anti-lynching bills introduced in the U.S. Congress? 200! And not one of them has been approved by the U.S. Congress yet. But the first ever Asian bill goes through on the first try. Look at the racism. Look at the discrimination. Look at the bias. Look at the inequity there. And why are they catering to the Asians? You know why? Because the amount of white people in this country is shrinking.
That's right.
And whenever the amount of white people in America shrinks, America looks to find other white groups or other minority groups that they can build an alliance with to protect their power and their interests. Who better than the Asians? They're just as conservative politically as many middle-class white Americans. They are just as economically comfortable as many middle-class white Americans. They don't like black people just as much as many middle-class white Americans. Not to mention that this can go a long way towards building relationships with Asian countries on the continent of Asia that America can't afford to build an alliance with Russia. Let us be clear about something. The continent of Asia is a big problem for the U.S. government. You got 3 power nations on that continent. You got Russia, that America can't stand. You got China, that America can't control. And you got India, which is one of the fastest growing populations, and it is quickly becoming the IT giant of the world.
Strong. Hey, like we say, bars. My man dropped bars.
That wasn't the end. I just stopped so y'all could go ahead.
Right, definitely. So it is more. It is more to the video. So that we just played half of it. We're gonna go in on a little more. Hopefully, we can get some more people in to chime in. So Don, you heard that. How does it make you feel?
It's not anything that I didn't know. I used to watch Umar. I used to follow Brother Umar years ago. Well, I haven't been following him recently. I do believe that he challenges us to think. And he does bring a knowledge to the platform that we should, for ourselves, again, I'm going back to the stuff, but we need to investigate, we need to research for ourselves. It sounds great. And I agree. I don't agree with the militant approach as much because, okay, let's just say, hypothetically, he doesn't build an alliance with Russia or India or Asia. And he focuses on America and the police genocide against blacks, right? Okay. I see where he was going with it. I guess I would want to know why he can't do both. I see where he's going with it, and I see the racial discrimination. I see all of that, but I want it to be understood that from my perspective, he can build an alliance and pass a legislative for
foreign affairs is Biden's strength. That was where he was strong. That's what strength.
That's what he does.
Foreign affairs, definitely.
And if let's just say, if he does that, then what? The bottom line is, I agree with what the brother's saying. I don't think he could lead the army. A lot of people have a lot of knowledge. They get on these platforms such as the Breakfast Club. They go to these schools. They go to these organizations. They speak. They speak at college graduations and things of that nature. And it's great because you're spreading the word. You're spreading knowledge. You're spreading your theory, which is something that can challenge the minds of those who aren't even thinking that far, don't even know to think to that extent. So I do appreciate him for that, but he's on the sideline. That's the bottom line. And unless you're going to unless he get all black people to vote independent, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the majority of us, let's face it, we only vote because we have the right to vote. We only vote because we hear, just like everything else in social media, people passing out, people for the right to vote, and you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I'm gonna vote. It gives us a sense that we have some power. When in essence, if you look at it, and if we base it on what Brother Umar is saying, we just vote.
So Kev chimed in. So for the record, he's waiting on a black bill to be passed. Yeah, in a sense. So Kev, I take it more like y'all campaign hard for us. Y'all campaign for our vote. Y'all go to the max. I mean, y'all get the rappers behind them, the fraternities, the sororities, and the black athletes to get behind them to get our votes. To get our votes, it's almost like it's comparable to a marriage, right? Like we going hard for the wedding. Like we go hard for the wedding, but after the wedding, we forget about the actual marriage. Like there's a part after that that's more important than leading up to it. And it seems like we're very important when you're campaigning. That's my take. We're oh man, we got to get the black vote. We got to get the black vote. We got to get the younger generation, the hip hop vote, the millennials. We got to get them on our side. But then when they get in office, it's always, what about us? And then it goes again, another 4 years, they'll go back to campaigning again. Black power. Everybody got the fist up. We super pro-black from there, right? Then they get back in office, same thing. Now, we're not discouraging people against voting. I would never do that. I'll vote myself. But I don't vote with expectations. I vote because it's my right. I honestly, at this point in my life, I don't even vote with hopes of change. It's like, hey, it's going to be what it's going to be.
And that's so unfortunate.
And it's unfortunate, but I got to get mine. I'm not waiting for Jesus to come back down here and save the world. You know what I mean? So, and that's what it seems like. There's still a lot of black people in that mindset. We still, committed to these parties, Democrat, Republican. Man, what about the black people? That's what I really took from his, from what he just said. And that should bother a lot of people.
Yeah.
That should definitely bother a lot of people. So let's finish up. Here's the rest of Dr. Umar Johnson.
Kamala Harris is not the vice president by accident. Kamala Harris is the vice president on purpose because America needed to send the nation of India an olive branch to improve their relations because America can't afford for India to get tight with China or Russia. This is politics. And they're going to use the Asians, as probationary whites. They're going to upgrade them to probationary white status to make sure that they stay on the side of the white man and not go on the side of the black man. This Asian agenda is a distraction from the issues that are affecting black people. How do you sign an executive order for the transgenders, executive orders for the Asians? He has signed nothing for black people. And mind you, Envy and Charlemagne, there have been at least 5 notable police terrorism cases on Joe Biden's watch. You had the 16-year-old sister who was shot 4 or 5 times with the knife. And I don't want nobody to tell me that the police were justified.
We're going to get to that.
I got you. Yeah. But the 5, her. And then you have Officer Nazario, the African Latino brother who was harassed by the police in his car.
The lieutenant.
You had the brother 17-year-old boy murdered by the police in the bathroom
Anthony
in
Thompson.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Anthony Thompson Jr.
The other brother in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, who was shot in the execution of a warrant. And I'm missing some. Oh, Dante Wright, who was murdered, and she thought it was a taser. Tasers don't look like guns. Tasers don't feel like guns. They don't weigh the same as guns. And there's no way under heaven you accidentally thought a taser was a gun. But again, 5 cases, and the president still has not acted. The same president that told the Breakfast Club that if you black and don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, why haven't you done anything for black people yet, Joe Biden?
So it seems like we getting more people in. Gandy's joining in. We finally get more people in. So what we're gonna do, Ivan, if you don't mind, we probably gonna go about 15 minutes over, just so we can, kind of get a little more interaction.
Yeah,
we apologize for the inconvenience and people not being able to see the show. Look like we possibly got it fixed. You can ask some people, Ben, Gandy, Kevin, how you guys can see the show and chime in. So back to Dr. Umar Johnson. That's strong, right? And no one has really spoke up on that. We on social media all the time. Like you said, 5 incidents. 5. That means it's continuing to happen. Same shit, new day. Different president, same shit. Now we know the president is not a dictator. He's not the king. He can't just snap his finger and make things happen. But those executive orders are important. Like you said, you was able to sign that right away. I got a write-in comment. The anti-Asian bill was based off business, money. The Asian economy supplies products worldwide. So when Asians start getting attacked, what did they do? They acted quick. Meanwhile, we riding over George Floyd. Well, we sat and watched the man for 8-9 minutes. Like we pretty much watched a murder on live. We watched a live murder, right? So I think I know a lot of people think Dr. Umar Johnson's he goes a little too far, but you got to take a little bit out of what he says, out of what he's saying, and make us think a little more. You know what I mean? So, come on, help me out. Talk to me.
I don't think he goes too far. I don't think he goes too far.
There are some people that say he goes a little over the top.
You know what? And those are the people that's going to sit by and let whatever happens. Don't know what's going on. It's going to come to a point where this is my take on it. And this is where the militant approach comes in for me. It's going to come to a point where if enough of us as Black people don't realize that we have to take control of our own communities, and we have to start our own government, that will have to happen for us to even thrive, survive, or get any type of anything passed, if there's a chance. And I know, and so that's why I was saying, there's certain aspects he talks about. I don't agree with the militant approach, but maybe that's me being kind of confused about it.
Right.
I'm not saying I got it all figured out, but I do believe that we've been shown time and time again. It's left up to us. It's left up to us and our Black communities. We have to uplift ourselves, each other, our families. It's going to come to a point that I believe that we are going to have to individually take the responsibility to protect our very own households. Now, either we can do that together or we're going to have to do it apart, but it's going to have to happen. And so a lot of people are just going to sit back on the sidelines, like I said, and just be like, oh, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's what a lot of people think he is. He don't know what he's talking about. He in left field. He read a book. Yeah. I can recommend a bunch of them right now. And I can start with some real minimal that everybody can relate to. And it's about social media. It's called Brainwashed by Leo Burnett. Read that book. I can give you a few more. I just got to read the ISIS paper for the second time, because until we understand as a people where we come from, what we have been through, what our ancestors endured for us to get to a point to even be alive today, for our generation through generation, our lineage of men and women to be here, we just doomed, because the government is not going to protect us. They're not. And it's being shown. Okay, he got convicted. And what's next? What's the most he gonna get?
Because the fact is,
he's not gonna get life.
And the fact is, it keeps happening. So we have Maya chimed in. Maya chimed in. Okay, I get his point, but what would an executive order for Black people consist of? That's the part of the problem. What are Black people putting in Umar's ear? When bills get passed, they are lobbied for. Black people never do this. Great point, Maya. That's a great point. We do not lobby for certain bills to be passed, because at the end of the day, it's sad, and we're on top of that, we're still fighting each other.
Right.
We're sitting out here on top of a system that's not built for us.
Exactly.
It shows us time and time again it's not made to protect us and not for us. We still got to watch our back from our own.
Yeah.
And we still got a crabs in the barrel mentality. Yeah. We still attack each other. We go through all this and look at what's going on right in our face. It can't be more blunt. People can say what they want about Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter by any means. But Trump was blunt. Trump was very blunt. You knew where he stood. You knew how he felt. He wasn't faking it to make it. There it is. There it is. So Jerome chimed in. Don is right. Seems we're responsible for our own social reform, including our government. When are we going to hold these people accountable, especially the ones that pine for our vote, the ones that get out here and shuck and jive and do all that and how the rappers at the campaign rallies and all this jumping around? When are we going to hold them accountable? That's the question I have. You know, that, and I think we all have to get to that point. That's a great, and I'm glad you brought that book. You know, it's a lot of books out there like that. I need to start reading a few more myself, but there are a lot of books out there like that. And we go back, if you guys wasn't there earlier, we were talking about not being afraid to question things, to question the media. You don't have to believe everything you're told. Even Dr. Umar Johnson, you might not agree with everything he's saying. Research some of the things he's saying.
Yes.
Research some of the stuff he's saying.
That's it.
You may turn around and find, damn, dude spoke some truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the comment I got, it came in from Maryland about the anti-Asian bill really relating to money. Now, me dealing in the finance and things like that, you gotta always follow the dollar. You gotta always follow the dollar. And the Asians do have a stronghold on the like products worldwide. So of course, you gotta hurry up and protect them.
Of course.
You gotta.
That's where the money. It's all about the mighty dollar. It's all about. So we need to generate, and we can come together too. But part of that is because we have lack of education is key, and we don't have it. We don't have it where it's needed. These millennials grow up. People be like, "Oh, my baby got straight A's." Well, you know, not knocking anybody, but what does that consist of? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be funny, but it starts in the home. If you know better, you do better. You teach your child better. You always want your child to have better than you. But if you on some bullshit, your mom on some bullshit, granddaddy on some bullshit. See, that's where the problem comes in. You got violence, you got all types of other shit going on. Mental disorders that they want us to believe that really exist, that I really don't think that's the case. It's just the infrastructure inside the Black community has been broken down. It's down. And we as the Black people have to awaken ourselves. We have to rub each other on the shoulder like, hey, this ain't the way. We got to figure this shit out because we're the only ones that can do it. The only motherfuckers going to protect us is us. That's it.
That's it.
And I really feel that way.
And that's what the Black Panthers were about. That's what the Panthers were about. That like, hey,
I vote because I'm supposed to vote. Right. Because I was raised to say you vote. But I really voted for a lesser evil. I didn't vote for change for me. You know what I'm saying? Right. I didn't. So, and I know that. So then they say, well, why vote? You standing for, well, whatever. I did it because I, like everybody else, I just wanted Trump out.
Well, and you damned if you do, you damned if you don't, right?
You know
because if you don't vote, everybody gonna get on your ass and say, oh, you ain't got a right to complain about nothing and this, that, and other. But then, you know.
And it's like this, everybody else, every other race, they worried about their race.
Mm-hmm.
We need to worry about ours. You come in my neighborhood and rob me, and I'm not saying nobody should be robbed, but you scared to go in the white neighborhood. You scared to go with them Asians because them Asians got it on lock. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you scared to go on the Latino, and because they got on lock, but you'll come over here, you'll raise me, brother. I might give you what you need.
I mean that's true. Now
you know what I'm saying?
Kevo chimed in with the mental illness is real trust. Now, some of that mental illness is it. I say cause and effect, right? When you look at what you've been taught, like your upbringing, everything you've been taught in school, and how things are supposed to go, and then what's going on, and then you start experiencing some shit, right? That'll drive a motherfucker crazy, right? We have this thing like we're taught, you go to school, get a good education, go to church, pray, do right, and everything's gonna go right. Right? And like the world is like, that's going to be a perfect world. And we know that's bullshit. But we are preparing our youth.
At all.
We are prepared. Now they run around with a I don't give a fuck mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to wonder why. And even a lot of people in our generation, like I had a debate a while ago, like people just don't have any faith in government. Because we get upset when people don't get out and vote, and people get so upset. There's no faith in it. We don't believe in it. You can't keep slapping the shit out of me and then make me believe you're not gonna slap me again. I'm supposed to just every time we're around. So when I'm around you, if you constantly stealing on me, every time I'm around you, my guard is up. Like you're in a relationship. Your spouse, your significant other cheat on you, your guard should be up. You're not gonna just believe them because they say I ain't gonna do it again. And then, okay, it's cool. Right. It's cool. We're gonna rock and roll with it. So it's that's kind of how a relationship with the government is. It's crazy. It's mind blowing to see the amount of people that's still in 2021 that we can still piss on and tell them it's raining. Yeah. We can still do it. And I hate using the word slavery because slavery to me I never experienced it, of course, but from what I read and just I hate watching the movies. It's heart-wrenching, but this doesn't compare to that because a lot of our enslavement is our own minds. A lot of ours is mental. These people we're talking about people that have a choice. We have choices.
Oh, that's why we're one of the most hated countries. Because you know why? Because other countries, I have friends where they come here thinking it's the land of, for other races perhaps, but we don't utilize it. If these kids, if they took the energy that they put into social media, they took the energy they put into the clothes they buy, the card cracking they do. Come on now, the loan scams they do, you know what I'm saying, the robbing, the whatever they're doing. If they took that energy and put it into building up community, you know how wonderful and magnificent we will be. They have so much energy and they smart as hell because they have this technology shit. So when it comes to what is relevant right now, when it comes to the means of survival, everything is done on the phone. Everything is done on the computer. Now you got the Amazon store, you scan your phone, you walk in, you pick up, you put down, they take it off your bill. These kids know how to navigate through that type of shit. If they took that bullshit ass energy that they put into all the shit that they shouldn't, because social media is telling them that they should, and reversed it and put it into building and helping our elderly people, creating businesses to have jobs for us, we would be so fucking cold. But that's not going to happen because we are controlled by design to fail. We are doing exactly what them motherfuckers want us to do.
Bars on top of bars. Period. Now, Maya gave a comment. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome is a good read. So that's another read, people to check out. Man, we challenge our people to go out and read, and let's be more open-minded. And stop letting them tell us that these people are conspiracy theorists and they're just talking a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Believe what I say, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. And that's the one thing we could talk about these millennials all we want, how crazy they are, how wild they are, but they actually go against the grain. Like they go against you can't just tell them to go get a degree and go get a good job and that's gonna be it. These kids out here starting businesses at 13 years old, 12 years old. They out here, hey, they finding out how to get it. They're teaching themselves. Exactly. They're teaching themselves. Now you do need what the educational system gives you to get through, you know, everyday life. I'm not telling people don't go to school or nothing like that, but challenge the narrative. Challenge it. Maya, I'm with you. Let's start a book club. That'll be great. Maybe we can do a podcast.
That'll be awesome. I can come with a book every week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I you know what? And don't get me wrong, I ain't been reading in a little while, but I read. I'm always asking suggestions on books, and you know. Once you start, see, people don't understand. Once you start it, you keep feeding it because you want it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like anything else. I wasn't real big. I was reading trashy books when I first really got into reading. Okay. And then one day I went to this used bookstore and I just grabbed a book, and it was Madam Secretary. I can't think of her name. And then I read Condoleezza. But I'm saying once I started reading those then I got into my daughter started going to African school, and we started reading books together, and it just trickled down like that. But you got to elevate.
You have to open your mind.
Find a way to elevate these children.
Right. And you have to be willing. You have to be willing to open your mind. Somebody thought I was crazy when I was telling them that, you know, I actually listen to speeches by white supremacists. I'll go on YouTube. I want to hear what they got to say. Yeah. Like I want to hear why you feel the way you feel. Mm-hmm. And you try to listen not from a hateful standpoint or like instantly like prejudging. Let me try to openly, like non-biased, let me listen to what they're saying so I can kind of try to understand where you're coming from, so I can at least counter with some knowledge of where you're coming from. It's like chess, right? Mm-hmm. Like I need to know what my opponent is thinking, in order to beat them. Yeah. Right? It's chess is a game of strategy. So like if I know your next move, I got you every time. If I'm 2 moves ahead of you, I got you. The only way I know that is by studying you and watching you, and not coming in taking my opponent as an idiot, or like I'm smarter than you, or I have a master's degree, so I'm smarter than you. I can do anything better than you. You know, so those are the challenging things we have to open up to. So we have Maya chimed in again. I have a minor in African American. Those class and books, the most enlightened moment in my life when I took those classes. I think African American Studies, I'm pretty sure is what.
Yes, ma'am. What school did she? What she took the classes? She said. No,
I took the class. Everyone should read Hitler's. Is that Mein Kampf? I can't pronounce it, but if you see the comment, that
was heavy. I started it. I didn't finish it.
Yeah, those are like that's deep, and I think that's when we'll start seeing some type of change. Like that's the faith I have in the millennials. I think they could be the beginning of the change. They could be the beginning of the true rebellion. Like go against the system. They definitely could,
but it's left up to us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us.
Well, luckily we not, but luckily with us, a lot of us, and I think we're a little more open. Like I think we were the beginning of it. Like our generation is kind of the beginning, because we're the bridge generation, right? We were the generation right before the internet hit, right? Mm-hmm. Before we had the informational highway. Like there's no other generation that can say like after us that could say they had to go through an encyclopedia, or had to carry 20 books home to do a damn book report. Right. Or a 20-page paper or things like that. They just click a couple of buttons. Like we have to learn it from the ground. Remember, we the last of the payphone, the rotary phones. Like we saw that, so we see the change. So
exactly.
It's right. We see the change. It started with us, and I'm even, I don't agree with the whole Instagram model thing, but you know what? The other side of it I look at is we are becoming so creative with ways to make money or ways to be entrepreneurs or creating like streams of income. We've gotten a lot better than that. Like this generation is cold with it. Like they can go on and hell, when I got a question about a phone, I ask a 10-year-old. And they can guide you right through it and show you how to crack a code and get through there and everything. I learned how to type on a damn typewriter.
Exactly. They don't know nothing about that.
They don't know nothing about no damn typewriter. Taking that white out when you made a mistake and had to hit had to be right directly on the little letter and all that. They don't know about that. They don't know about that. So they almost got a fresh start. They got a fresh start and they got an open mind.
Know it.
They don't realize. They don't realize.
I try to school I tell my daughter, I'm always flashing back with her. Like I ain't have a phone. I had a beeper. We had to go to a payphone. That's when it was safe to go to a payphone. You could go to the payphone.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? How wild is this? Do you think now about how dirty them damn payphones were?
What?
How dirty they were.
How dirty everything was.
The germs and all that. We just got them to our ear and up to our mouth.
Yeah, for real. Like everything was dirty. Like, just the stuff that we are scared of now or that's obsolete. Where's a payphone? Do payphones even exist anywhere? I think I saw one on the train when I caught the red line back home from the airport. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw one. I don't know if it worked, but it was there.
Right.
And I was like, wow. It's just little things that take for granted. Like my kid, she still can't find her way from our house to 3 blocks away without GPS. And I'm like, girl, we didn't have GPS. I was all over this motherfucker without GPS. It was just a word of mouth. Make a left here, turn right, you'll find it, and we get there.
Oh, yeah.
The thing, they are very smart, and they're smart for this day and age. But when it comes to them thinking, they have no sense. Well, they can't figure it out without technology.
They're also being guided as well. Let's talk. The music.
Exactly.
TV is totally different. They're being guided and they're kind of being strayed to not utilize it. And they don't know
have to utilize. That's what I mean. I don't mean they don't have any sense. They don't have to utilize certain parts of their brain just for simple common sense. Shit that we had to really, think about or do. We had to remember how to get downtown around the corner. And they ain't got to do that. Everything is at their fingertips. And that's what I'm saying. Everything is at their fingertips. And they utilize it wrong.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's what, and I'm not saying all of them. We got some very intelligent kids. We know, I'm talking about the ones that utilize it wrong. And we can't tell them they're utilizing it wrong.
And the hope is that they take this and relate it to politics, and they challenge these politicians and they challenge government, and they do fight for bills to be passed. And you can't just tell them anything, and they fall for it.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
And they fall for it. I really like that. All that shut up and be a kid. Those times are over.
It's done.
Those times are over. They got access. They got access. They're gonna ask questions. Well, we were talking backstage. Like, you can't tell kids no more the stork bought you. Mm-hmm. Like, kids know about sex.
They know where I come from.
Yeah, they
what
know
was you doing in that room with
Daddy. Exactly. All that's done. So Maya chimed in again. Thank you, Maya. Appreciate the comment. In college, I was the president of the Black Student Union, and I got to have some great intimate conversations with Betty Shabazz, Angela, and Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame. I couldn't be dresser. Life-changing conversations. I would have loved to experience that. Yeah. I would have loved to have had conversations. I don't know. Did you watch One Night in Miami?
I did not.
Amazon. So One Night in Miami was a great. Some people didn't like it. I don't know why, but it was pretty much a movie about a night. It was a conversation between Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Cook. Yeah,
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke. Yeah, Sam Cooke and Jim Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
For people who changed, who fought for change, who spoke some real shit, and the conversations they had was so deep, man. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, and that was just a movie. And maybe that happened or didn't really happen, but I can imagine sitting and talking to those people. You know what I'm saying? And hearing it from their perspective. Like Maya, that's great. You actually got a chance to talk to Betty Shabazz.
That is. And so that type of exposure is what we lack in our Black community with our children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my daughter went to African grammar school. Fred Hampton Jr. was her teacher in politics. All of her teachers were from all across the board. They weren't from here. The majority of our teachers, Morocco, Tanzania, Haiti, Jamaica, you know. And so she had a different, you know, learning experience than most of her peers.
Right.
So when she went to high school, I sent her to a high school where the student body was all Black. And unbeknownst to me, which I should have did my research more, the majority of her teachers were white. It was not a good school for her to go to because her mindset was very different from her peers. And so she was used to being taught African American history, African studies, instead of U.S. history. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So just the way she responded, the things she knew with her teacher, she ran into problems, especially from a historical point when she had her literary class, because there were things that she knew as a matter of fact that her white teachers had no idea about. And it was so crazy because the students that she was with, their interests, the things they thrived off of, the fashion, everything about that changed for her because she wasn't used to that. And she said, she came home one day and said, "Mom, you know, they don't even know who Malcolm X is." She was like, "They don't even know who Kwame Fure is." And most people don't. They don't even know about the Black Panther Party. Like, how am I sitting here with all these kids that look like me? They look like the kids I went to school with, I was in grammar school with, but they don't know any of those things. And so when I have conversations with her and she has conversations with her friends, she goes over their head for that reason. Right. No offense to them. It's not their fault, but they were not taught. So they don't. Like, that goes back to the you know better, you do better. I feel like we have lost that teaching. We never had it in the public school. Let's be honest.
Right,
and mainly in the Catholic, you know, private schools as well, because the majority of the private schools, especially back when we were coming up, were white. You didn't find no all Black private school with an all Black, you know, staff.
Exactly.
So it's like, I feel like, because she has a sense of who she is and she knows her history, she knows about her ancestors. And I mean, she really knows her history. Like, she knows history of great-great-grandmothers integrating a college, a HBCU, things of that nature. Her take on life is a little different versus her counterparts, the people she's worked with, the people she comes in contact with.
So that's a great point, and that leads to a great question. And going back to what Maya said, why like African studies? Because African Americans are such a big part of this country, and you know, we keep the economy going. Like, we play a huge part. Why aren't those classes mandatory over learning Shakespeare? And the same. And to me, it felt like history class was the same shit every year. From elementary all the way to high school. But so much got lost, and I had to go and find it myself. You know what I mean? Which goes back to the method of control. I'm gonna teach you what I want you to know. Don't ask me no questions. You remember the older people when you talk religion, right? You couldn't question the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't question the Bible. And a lot of times they didn't even understand they didn't even understand what was being said. And the answer would be because the Bible says so.
Yeah. And then that also goes back to me saying about us building up our own communities and government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The only way that our children are going to get that type of exposure and knowledge of self-awareness is from us, because we know it.
Definitely.
You know,
and do me a favor, bring back the comment Gandhi had about the use of technology, how the youth are using technology. That's a great comment, Gandhi.
Youth uses their technology.
Yeah, most of our youth uses their technology genius as means of social popularity and entertainment instead of using that platform for social awareness and enlightenment of our own people. Great comment, Gandhi. Definitely appreciate the comment, brother. Yep. That's spot on. That's spot on.
But why? Because they don't know. They don't understand social awareness. Yeah. And that's what it is. A lot of these, look, I'll just take an example for a reason. Look at, and I'm gonna leave it at a minimum on the kids level. Gucci Mane and his wife. She got over 1 million followers. You know what she posts every day? Her half-naked ass, which I'm not mad at this. She got a nice body. Don't get me wrong, I love her body. Her baby that's like her baby that's like 2 months old, dripped in Gucci. You know, look at my big old $20,000 Christmas tree, and that's fine. Hey, get out how you get out, sister. But she has a platform to influence the masses.
Yeah.
These kids are following her. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. See what I'm saying? That's awesome. Now we teaching our little girls how to twerk. That's all it's on social media.
Yep.
So at what point do we, and then some of the mothers are cheering them on. What do we do with that?
That sickens me.
In our community, how do we change that?
Sure.
The same thing with men. The level of respect that these kids have for each other is beyond me.
Oh, yeah.
The word bitch is a common word in a relationship. I wish you would call me that. Hey, you laying in my bed every night, and it's just a common word. Yeah. It's just like it's so many phases, it's so many, little leaks, and that we need to tighten up. But how do we do that? And that's everybody has education on what's wrong, what's going on, but how many of us are actually doing something about it? Right. And that sounds cliche, but it's the truth.
And we have identified the problem many times on many platforms, but we aren't solving it. And that's why, listening to Dr. Umar Johnson, and I'll go back to when I said earlier, when Ice Cube and people were like questioning Biden and when he was campaigning and he was talking to Trump, he was trying to get, their take on, on the black agenda, and we instantly attacked them.
Yep.
We instantly attacked them. Oh, you sell out, you this, that, and other. Not, come on now. Like Ice Cube will sell out of every motherfucker you could call a sellout. Like Ice Cube definitely is in one of the people that word should never be associated with that man.
It only takes one idiot to say something and everybody follows. It didn't take one person or two people, and more than likely those people do not have the awareness that they need. I don't want to say uneducated, illiterate. I don't want to say
it's not uneducated,
but they don't have the understanding, and so they just roll with it. Everybody else following suit, don't really know, just going by what somebody say. And that's the lack of education.
It is.
It is. That's what we can't think for ourselves. Yeah. We need to learn how to find that balance, to think for ourselves, and in turn respecting the thoughts of others and the opinion of others, and formulating our own opinion. We can't do that, and that's why it's always going to be some stupid ass on social media saying Dawn felt, some stupid shit. Ice Cube ain't shit. He's a dummy. He's an Uncle Tom, and then it's going to be 5 more people. He an Uncle Tom, and if you ask those 5 people that say he Uncle Tom, why he's an Uncle Tom, They ain't gonna be able to have
They
that.
ain't gonna know. They read some clickbait on social media, and everybody chimed in and just ran with it. There it is right there. I even hit it right on the head. There it is, right on the head. There it is. So we're gonna get ready to close it down for the night, episode 1. My favorite uncle. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, not being able to get everybody to see the show, but hopefully you guys, you'll be able to see it on YouTube. I will post the YouTube channel, and we'll try to get the show where you can at least see the taping of it if you couldn't catch it live. But at the end of the day, when it's all come down to it, let's start holding these politicians accountable, along with holding ourselves accountable. And the same way they pound for our votes, let's hold them to it. You said it's what you was gonna do. You said, like, we gotta stay on top of it and make them pay for it in the re-election.
Yeah,
you ain't do what you said. I don't see nothing on the table concerning black folks. You're not getting my vote this time. You know, like, we gotta really start pushing the agenda. It's time for us to open our minds. We got the platforms, we got the informational highway. It's time to make the change. So Don, you can get your sign off, and let the people know where they can reach you and all that, or your contact stuff.
My email is dawn.ashmore, ASHMORE @gmail.com. I'm Dawn Cherie on Facebook. I'm boom_Cherie on Instagram. Come check me out.
There it is. And y'all know how to reach me already. A lot of you guys, we already in tune. And if you want to come on the show, we're inviting anybody who want to come on the show. This is an open platform. You can talk about anything you want. When we say press your luck, that means press it. Anything you want to discuss, anything you want to talk about, bring it right here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So thank you guys for tuning in. Ivan, our producer, man, great job as usual. One of the dopest producers in the game. So get at us next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see y'all then. Peace.